what was your original target and did you achieve it? So my original target was the same as last time. It was to make sure that I stayed in parallel throughout all of my exercises. And yes, I did achieve it. Exercises you took part in, what you worked on and how the exercise was developed. So today we went over all of our Cunningham technique exercises to make sure we all knew what we were doing and had the right timing, because if all three of us are doing the same exercises, we need to show in the assessment that we know what we're doing and we're all working together to keep the same timing. It involved the bounces, rolling down the spine, jumps, triplets and our combined routine. After that we started to work on our end of year piece, which involved us going off separately and using 3 different dynamics to create a small motif to the song Technologic by Daft Punk. And then at the end of 5 or 10 minutes we had to show each other what we had come up with, and the other 2 people that were watching would have to guess what dynamics you were given to use. Later on in that day we worked together with the second years and we combined our Cunningham technique exercises with the second year's exercises, and we put them both together to create one big routine which lasted about 45 minutes. And it took a lot of teamwork because we all had different exercises that needed to be put into the assessment, and we needed to make sure that they all flowed neatly between each different exercise. So it took quite a lot of time, but we managed to do it. And it involved us doing our own exercises, the first years, whilst the second years were doing a different exercise. And at one point we changed some bits up because we used the first year's combined routine and put that in whilst the second years were doing a release technique exercise. And it started off with Katie doing the combined routine on her own as a solo, and then when she left the stage she would do 2 Graham jumps off, and while she was doing that I would do 2 Graham jumps on at the same time, so it looked like we were doing Graham jumps together. And then I would start the combined routine on my own, and as it got towards the end of the combined routine Danielle would join in with me, and then after that we would do 4 stag leaps around to join Katie again, and then all 3 of us would do the combined routine together whilst the second years were still doing our release technique exercise. Comment on what you have learned in class and what you've researched independently, and consider how this has influenced your work. So this week I independently researched more on the song we were doing at the end of year for our first year piece, which is Technologic, and I researched by listening to the song over and over again, gathering more ideas and thoughts on what the song makes me feel and how my body wants to respond. So at certain points there was this little slight beat in which made me think of a heartbeat, and at other points it gave me the idea of like a futuristic vibe where we were like robots but like more like mannequins, and we had to do what we were told but we were kind of not wanting to, so it's a bit of like a futuristic where we don't want to rebel against it. How are you developing technically? So technically I feel as though I am improving because I'm pointing my feet more and correcting my arm positions by myself, because I can tell now whether I'm holding them in the right position. So like last week I was struggling with my 5th position of my arms because I was holding them too far back, but now because I know from feedback what I was doing wrong, I've practiced and I can now correct myself when I'm doing my arm positions wrong. Reflect on your attendance, professionalism, attitude, group work, focus and commitment. So between last week and now, I believe my attendance has been outstanding, as I've been in all classes before the class was meant to start, and I've been ready to go. Because my attendance hasn't been overly good before last week, and I was having some wobbles, I feel that my attitude, focus and commitment this week has been my best in a while, and I've been trying to prove that I do care about my dancing and that I want to progress onto my second year. Reflect on feedback from your peers or tutors. So this week I've been told that I need to work on my turning triplets because I'm a little all over the place and when I do them, and it doesn't look professional. Off my peers, I feel I've been told that I use dynamics very well. However, towards the end of the day, my energy dropped and I wasn't doing my best, so I need to work on building up my stamina. Identify and describe 3 strengths or successes of the session and explain why. A strength of mine is my movement memory, and it's because I remember all the exercises and I'm able to perform them without being reminded of what comes next or what they involve. Another one of my strengths is that I'm now pointing my feet during exercises and routines. So when we do our jumps technique exercise in Cunningham, I'm now focusing on pointing my feet as well as travelling. So I've combined them 2 together because I've been practicing. My third strength is that my knowledge has increased, and the majority of the time I am able to correct myself when doing something wrong. Identify and describe 3 weaknesses of the session and why. One of my weaknesses is my tidiness again, because even though I know the movements of my exercises, I'm not very neat and it just makes me look lazy. Another one of my weaknesses is my turning triplets, because when I do these, I always stay on the same level up the whole way through when it's meant to be a down up, and I'm wobbling when I come out of them because I keep forgetting to spot because I'm too focused on turning around and travelling rather than going down up and spotting at the same time as well. My third weakness is my stamina because I feel my stamina is alright. However, when doing later days, for example not finishing till 6, my energy begins to drop towards the end of the session and it makes me look as though I'm not trying even though I am, and it makes other people think that I've just given up and can't be bothered to do it. Identify and describe 3 targets for next session. So my 3 targets for next week are to not let my energy drop throughout my performances, to clean up and not be messy, and lastly to spot when doing turning triplets. If I work on all of these, my grade for the assessment will improve a lot. By improving my stamina, my energy won't drop as quick, and this will help in the future when I carry on dance at university or a school. By working on my spotting for turning triplets, I will also improve my spotting when doing pirouettes, and that will help me in the future again because at the moment I can only do a single pirouette, but hopefully I'll be able to do doubles and triples maybe. And as for not being messy, if I keep working I will become neat and eventually become a polished dancer. And that is that for week 2's evaluation. Thank you.